This is CBN Newswatch.
Welcome to CBN Newswatch. I'm Gary Lane. Israel's leaders return home as high-level talks in Washington wrap with no breakthrough. Meanwhile, regional threats are multiplying from Iran to the Red Sea. Chuck Holton reports from Jerusalem with the latest developments.
Heavy fighting is ongoing across Gaza as Israeli forces press deeper into Hamas strongholds. Since the end of the last ceasefire in the middle of March, 41 Israeli soldiers have been killed, bringing the total during the ground war to 448. In Judea yesterday, an Israeli man was killed in a stabbing attack at a shopping center. Sources allege the two assailants were members of the Palestinian Authority security forces. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has now departed Washington, following meetings with President Trump and families of the hostages.
We're trying to achieve the release of half of the hostages in exchange for a 60-day ceasefire. If Hamas does not meet our terms through negotiations, we will achieve them by force.
Meanwhile, Israeli officials believe part of Iran's 60% enriched uranium stockpile survived last month's joint airstrikes, buried too deep to be destroyed, although it would be difficult for Iran to remove it. Israel may be quietly planning a new wave of strikes on Iran. And in the Red Sea, Houthi militants have resumed missile and drone attacks, threatening commercial shipping and prompting Israel to call on the U.S. to renew airstrikes against Houthi positions in Yemen. From Jerusalem, I'm Chuck Holton for CBN News.
Our CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell is back with us again. Chris, good to have you again.
Good to be back with you again.
So this visit by Bibi Netanyahu, how did it go? What do you think he accomplished?
Well, I don't think he got everything he wanted to, but I think that in terms of the relationship between President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu is really unmatched, as he said himself. I mean, the relationship and the fact that he's not only had one meeting with President Trump, he had three meetings. And he met with leaders on Capitol Hill. He also met with evangelical leaders the other night. And I think he of all the prime ministers that I've known about, really fosters this relationship with evangelical leaders. But I think it was a really historic visit, you know, following the war with Iran, and they have major things on the table, the war in Gaza, the continued relationship with Iran. Is Israel going to continue to hit Iranian nuclear sites? And I think he's got the green light. But overall, I think it was a historic visit by the Prime Minister, and really representing, such a close relationship, I think, than ever before between Israel and the U.S.
Well, there's a lot of political developments overseas, at home for him as he's returned home. Pressures here in the United States, and the media loves to make it seem like there's a division and a divide between Netanyahu and Trump. So what is he facing on these ceasefire negotiations?
Well, he's facing internally, he's facing a lot of challenges on his right and on his left. For example, he wants to maybe pull out of some areas of the Gaza Strip, and some of the ministers on the right are saying, how can you do this? How can you... We have shed blood to get this land and treasure. How can you actually pull out of this area? So that actually threatens his government, Gary. Members of the coalition are threatening to pull out if he goes too far in the ceasefire negotiations. On the other hand, he's getting pressure from many of the hostage families that they say they will do anything to make sure that their loved ones get out of Gaza, including and up to, releasing many more Palestinian prisoners.
And the international community, too. There are a lot of voices out there saying you've got to stop this violence. They blame Israel, even though Israel was attacked, and they're just responding to the attack against them.
Yeah, and they say, if Hamas would surrender, release the hostages, the war would be over. There'd be no need for the fighting. But
how many are left, Chris?
Well, they believe right now about 50, 30 are deceased, 20 are still alive. And just such a difficult time. And this is the one leverage that Hamas has over Israel, and just to keep this fighting going on is these hostages.
So when Netanyahu says we're going to get all the hostages back, we're determined to get them all back, he's talking about deceased. as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is a big deal for all of the people of Israel to have not only the living hostages released, but the deceased as well. And it's part of their the fabric of their life, but it's also part of Judaism. And they make great efforts to recover even the remains of soldiers from literally years ago in wars past. So it's a big deal. And so that's why it's so important to be praying for Netanyahu, for the peace of Jerusalem, for wisdom for Netanyahu as well as President Trump. These are major issues that they're dealing with that are going to change the face and the future of the Middle East.
And Jerusalem Dateline, you have a lot of issues there you're going to be covering. Tell us what you've got coming up tonight.
Well, tonight there's going to be an analysis with Chuck Holton, who's there for about a month now with Julie Stahl. There's also a story, that we're re-airing about Hebron. And Hebron's in the news now because we've talked about it, Gary, about these 5 sheikhs that are saying, we want to join the Abraham Accords. We want to get away from the Palestinian Authority. So we have an analysis about that in Hebron, which is the original capital of the Jewish people, even before Jerusalem. So we have that and all that on this week's Jerusalem Dateline.
Abraham's buried there.
Abraham is buried there, exactly, and as well as Sarah.
Yeah. It's quite a historic place.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Okay, Chris Mitchell, our Middle East Bureau Chief. Safe travels back to Israel, and we appreciate you. Keep up the good work. May God bless you in your efforts.
Thanks, Gary.
And at 8 p.m. Eastern, you can watch tonight, Jerusalem Dateline. You can see the latest. Also watch on the CBN News app or on YouTube. Back here at home, it's now been 1 week since the historic July 4th flood in Texas. The death toll now stands at 120, with at least 150 people still missing. Through the tragedy, stories continue to pour of survival, people clinging to trees and huddled on rooftops. CBN's Paul Petit is in Texas. He spoke with 2 people that are thankful to be alive today.
Cleanup began early at this Texas home, one of hundreds destroyed by the July 4th flood.
It's just devastating.
Colleen Lucas and her husband are among the hundreds who've lost nearly everything. Fortunately, 42 Operation Blessing volunteers came to help this elderly couple salvage what they can.
I'm blessed. I have nothing but blessings.
Colleen was at work when the storm hit. She says a co-worker told her that the Guadalupe River was rising and overtook a local business. She says she knew immediately that meant her home was taking in water. She raced home in this truck to rescue her sleeping husband.
I opened the driver's door, I put my left leg out, and the water was almost up to my hip.
She had to wade through the deep water to get help.
All the way to the firehouse, I just prayed. And I really believe that I was walking on water because I made it safely. And the rescuers came, and that's what saved my husband's life.
In the aftermath, faith in this region turned into action. Churches, pastors, and volunteers uniting to help.
For some of us, this is a time to find our way back to hope.
In San Antonio, hundreds gathered for a special church service to pray and lament.
You know, over a third of our psalms are laments. And lament is not just sorrow, it's a path back to peace. It's a path back to trust, from that heartbreak to hope.
For another pastor here, what happened July 4th hits close to home. Mike Oakes was vacationing with his family along the Guadalupe when the flood hit. Though the house sits 25 feet above the river, water still poured in.
It was rushing into our front door, our back door, and I got the family up and I said, hey, we need to be vigilant here. Let's see if we can keep the water out.
But they couldn't. Mike and his son waded through waist-high floodwaters, following a neighbor's light to higher ground.
And we started hearing people on the road, like screaming, and it was pretty scary.
They returned to rescue other family members through a window just above the rising water.
I mean, you barely get out of this window, step down, and literally the water just like dropped a couple of feet, like from kind of waist, midriff level, like down to our knees, thighs.
Like Colleen, the Oakes family survived. Mike's mother and mother-in-law were airlifted away. Still they, like many here, are left grappling with why they made it out alive.
The why, I don't have an answer. But I do know that God is comforting me and he's comforting those who are mourning.
And everybody needs to understand that lives are irreplaceable. Materialistic things can be replaced, but not a life.
In Kerr County, Texas, Paul Petit, CBN News.
If you'd like to help Operation Blessing and join in the effort to help the people of Texas, just log on to ob.org. Well, coming up, see why one member of the Senate is expressing concerns on a bill that could cancel approved foreign funding. That's aid funding. Stay with us. You're watching CBN Newswatch. Welcome back to CBN Newswatch. The Senate is preparing to vote on a bill that would cancel already approved federal funding for foreign aid. The measure narrowly passed the House last month, and at least one member of the majority conference is expressing concern about the cuts. CBN's Michelle London has that story.
While Maine's senior senator strongly supports extending tax relief for families and small businesses, Collins tells me drastic cuts to PEPFAR, a successful program for international AIDS relief, is a key reason she will not support the current bill.
It's hard to think of a more pro-life program than PEPFAR when you think about how many babies' lives have been saved as a result.
Since voting no on the Senate version of the Big Beautiful Bill, Collins now faces another hurdle within her party.
Cutting this program will literally cost lives. And that's why I've made it very clear that I will not support the hundreds of millions of dollars that the OMB has proposed.
As the Senate looks to restore another $9.4 billion in cuts next week, the Appropriations Committee chair is racing against the clock.
When you look at PEPFAR,
warning Office of Budget and Management Director Russell Vought against slashing another $400 million in PEPFAR funding.
There aren't very many programs where we can point to such great results as PEPFAR, saving 26 million lives.
The Emergency AIDS Relief Plan, created back in 2003 during the Bush administration, is credited for helping various countries, especially in Africa and Asia, address the AIDS epidemic and save lives. Since then, the program has cost the U.S. about $6.5 billion every year. Those pushing for cuts believe PEPFAR was not intended to be a permanent solution.
Foreign aid and development programs are programs that end, and they end because they achieve their goal.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio believes the U.S. mission should be empowering developing nations to take more ownership while improving delivery of medical treatment. Collins still isn't confident that would help all patients get what they needed.
We're on the brink of an exciting new vaccine that's going to be able to be given to people just twice a year rather than having to take medication every day.
Concerns extend beyond party lines to the church, where Christian organizations played a key role in creating PEPFAR.
Hi, Senator Hagerty. Hi, this is Amy Grant.
Recently, Christian pop singer Amy Grant showed support by stopping her concert in a Nashville church to call Senator Bill Hagerty's office.
Here in Nashville, we want to see full funding of PEPFAR so that we can stay on track to end the HIV/AIDS epidemic by 2030.
From a Christian perspective, you mentioned pro-life. Why should this matter?
We all have a moral obligation toward our fellow human beings. That's certainly, from my perspective and my religion's perspective, what Jesus Christ would want us to do.
A number of evangelical groups which supported President Trump's pro-life policy warn ending U.S.-funded treatments could lead to an HIV resurgence in developing countries. Senator Collins also tells me deep cuts to U.S. aid, which serves as PEPFAR's infrastructure, could also affect getting help to those who need it most. Meanwhile, the State Department maintains PEPFAR is exempt from the cancellation of most U.S. international aid. Michelle London, CBN News, Washington.
Still ahead, we're looking into the world of entertainment. The Jurassic Park franchise continues more than 30 years later. We have a preview of the latest installment, Jurassic World Rebirth. Stay with us. Welcome back to CBN Newswatch. 1993 marks the beginning of the Jurassic Park franchise. Now, in 2025, it's Jurassic World Rebirth. Take a look.
Dr. Henry Loomis, this is Zora Bennett, our mission specialist.
Sorry, what mission?
It's been like a dream of mine to be in the Jurassic family forever.
109 Echo, take 2, pick up Echo Mark. Echo Mark.
For anyone who loves the original Jurassic films, this is the movie for you. Oh my God.
Steven gave me a call and said, hey, you want to do another one of those?
It's called Rebirth. It harkens back to the first film. It's a survival story.
No one's dumb enough to go where we're going.
Jurassic World Rebirth is a film that questions humanity's role in the natural world, especially with scientific advancements.
What would I do with mutant dinosaurs from an accounting perspective? Is that really the question?
What I always think of when I think of the Jurassic films is you're dealing with dinosaurs that are more dangerous and terrifying than you could possibly imagine.
It's why you come to see a Jurassic film. I think you want to be scared.
On the island we're headed to, 24 species have survived there alone.
Theme park owners did experimental work, leaving only the worst ones here.
Jurassic World Rebirth is about a special ops group that goes on a clandestine mission to recover blood samples from 3 different types of dinosaurs.
If we get this DNA,
millions of lives are saved.
There's this sense of urgency about it. Let's go. It is a thriller. You are trapped on this island. Gareth can see the whole film in his mind. He's a very unique storyteller in that way.
What's going to happen under the water? It's just going to do this past you a little bit. And you're not sure. Was it just imagination?
One thing about Gareth Edwards is his understanding of visual effects is second to none. There was no fear about how he was going to create these dinosaurs.
That's what brings the excitement. You are just in a constant state of peril.
There's nothing that says dig in more than a crew that's up to here in the mangroves water, but also as the tide's coming in, that they're still shooting.
Taking boats out to like remote islands and camping out with our crew to get these naturally beautiful places.
Our locations are 11 out of 10, every single one.
There's definitely shots where you go, no, that you can only get that in a real place.
They just look extraordinary and add such texture to the film.
Everywhere you look is already seemingly iconic, and it's just sort of out of body to be finding yourself in Jurassic World.
Jurassic World Rebirth is now in theaters nationwide. Well, coming up, a 15-year-old popular faith-based movie from filmmaker Dallas Jenkins is headed back to theaters. We'll have a preview for you coming up next. Welcome back to CBN Newswatch. Dallas Jenkins is known for creating the hit series The Chosen. But 15 years before the series was Dallas's first faith-based film called What If? And to celebrate the 15-year anniversary, the movie's returning to theaters for a limited run. The story explores the question, what if you take a different path in life? The cast includes Christy Swanson and Kevin Sorbo. Here's a quick preview of the film.
Not Julius Caesar, okay?
No, I'm not. You didn't think big enough.
Mercedes-Benz SL65.
Will you marry me?
Of course, Penny Bear. Came today some kind of missionary letter?
Wendy.
Who is she?
Old girlfriend. We almost got married.
You still talk to her?
I make a point of never going back.
What's going on?
No. Kidding me? It's a brand new car.
Who are you?
I'm an angel sent here to help you straighten out your life.
Okay.
Close your eyes, count backwards from 100.
No.
Fine. All right, well, have it your way.
Mommy, Daddy's crawling on the floor.
Dad, no, I'm not anybody's dad. What is this? What's Wendy doing here? Why does everyone act like they know me?
Again, the film returns to theaters this August 5th through 7th for a special Phantom event, which features a special cast reunion bonus conversation. Well, that's it for this edition of CBN Newswatch. Remember, you can find more of our news programs on the CBN News Channel anytime or online with cbnnews.com. Also, tell us what you think about the stories you've just seen by emailing Newswatch at cbn.com or talk to us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter. We hope you'll join us next time and have a great day, a great weekend as well.